Welcome back to Six Arrows. Today you're going to get a little bit more than 6 arrows. As I mentioned yesterday, I need to fine-tune that 30-yard pin. So one of the things to remember when you're resetting your pins is you don't want to shoot just a couple arrows. You want to shoot a good number of them and make sure that you understand exactly what's going on. It is so easy to torque the bow slightly, do something which you don't sense, and you don't want to be adjusting your pins based off of something that's your mistake. So I'm going to shoot a couple groups here, and then we'll see if I need to make any changes to that pin. Okay, so there's two groups of 6 arrows that you've seen. I got tired of messing around shooting the 4 corners in the center, so I was really looking at this to try to figure out if I need to adjust that 30-yard pin at all. And looking at this, I'm relatively happy with it. I am going to move it just a touch. So I will move that 30-yard pin down literally just a hair. And what that'll force me to do is to raise the bow slightly to hold it on the green dot. Let me get that done, and then I'll shoot another group of 6 arrows and see what it looks like. So this one at the 8 is the one that's my 30-yard pin, and I'm going to move that down ever so slightly. So I'll try to get the head at the top of that hex to be at the top, or at the middle of the 8 line. So yeah, I'm not going to move it much. You saw how close those were to the center, and then I'll see what that does. So you can see I moved that pin next to the number 8 down ever so slightly, and what that's going to force me to do is to raise the bow up to hold that 30-yard pin on the center of the target. So let's give it a shot. What distance practice does is it just makes you focus so much more on being steady and being a rock for that bow. And if you do any kind of real distance training for a significant amount of time, once you go back to 20 yards and in, your aim spot's going to look like a basketball. You're going to be so much more solid, and you'll realize really what a poor job you were doing before that. But it's all part of the process. This is, like you saw, just my second day at 30. And I've shot well past this in previous years, but in my ramp up, this is the first time I've really stretched it to this on a consistent basis. So it's a process. You just got to keep working at it, just got to keep stretching it out, and the more you do, the more confident you'll get. It hurts me a little bit to bounce those arrows off each other, but it's what you got to do to know exactly that your aim is on. So I can live with it for a small amount of time. Let's go take a look. That, my friend, is a beautiful thing. I will never complain about that. So, doesn't look like I screwed up any of my fletching, so super excited about that. Yeah, I could not be more pleased with that grouping at 30 yards after just a short amount of time. So I gotta say, I'm super happy with how that turned out. You can see what a small amount of practice does as far as consistency as you extend out your distance. And that'll only improve as I keep shooting at 30 yards and then extend it beyond that. Tomorrow's Friday. I think Friday is going to be two things for me for this video series. Number one, I'm going to shoot my broadheads a couple times. It's just as important to get practice in with the broadheads as it is with the field tips. And then the other thing that's going to happen every Friday is shooting kind of those gap distances. So don't just shoot at 20, 30, 40, wherever your pins are. Let's get to some of those intermediate ranges and understand exactly what you need to do when it comes to splitting those pins. And a big part of that is understanding what your arrow drop is between your different distances. So that's one of the things we'll look at tomorrow, is what is the arrow drop between 20, 30, 40, etc. And understanding that will go a long way towards helping you understand what you need to do when it comes time to split pins. Thanks for joining me for 6 Arrows. Come back tomorrow.